Namaste, Shalom, everyone. Welcome to yet another golden interview. I'm Frank Rausen Pereira, well known in the parampara as Roshan Ji. Also, we will talk about boom stories today. We will talk about the Garbha Sanskar. We'll talk about golden period education, golden period educators, and everything else about the golden period. And to do that, I have with me a special guest. I have Divya Kanal ji, who's specializes in this area. She's done a lot of work in this area as well, and is very happy to share her stories as well. Divya ji, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Roshan ji. Pleasure being here.
Let me first start with a very, very simple question as to, what brought you here? What made you think of doing something with parents, with babies, with the spirit child, etc.?
Roshan ji, very long time ago when I moved out of my corporate career, I felt that teaching was the space that I would rather be in than investment banking. And I used to work with teachers and principals in making learning and education more fun or more experiential rather than the rote learning which we grew up with. So in the schools, I realized that there's something different than what was the scenario where I was growing up. And that brought me to how babies were being born, what was happening around the country, this mad rush to, have no time for oneself, let alone one's own child, kind of led me to believe that, if I want to be in education, I would rather be where it makes the highest impact. So that was around the time that I was expecting my child as well. So that's what brought me to let's get to the foundation and where the greatest change can be made, actually.
Wonderful, wonderful. Since you mentioned greatest change, let me just take that forward with you. How crucial are those first 1,000 days or the golden period as we look at it?
It's like when you're building a house, how important is it about setting the blueprint? You can decide where you want the kitchen to go and the bedroom to go at that stage, right? It's not like you can't change it later, but it takes much more effort once the building is done. And that's only for something with a fixed lifetime. You're creating a whole new human being on which the next generations to come are based, and their experience can also help the ancestors. That's in our culture, the importance of the Pitru Paksha, which is currently going through. So how much more important would the foundation stage be here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, very well said. I think succinctly put by you. Let me just connect the two questions now and move forward. Investment banker to being a doula. How has the journey been?
Much more satisfying. It's, yeah, there is so much more joy, and I love babies. The best gift that anyone can have is a child. It keeps them young too. And as a doula, I get to be with them at the special moment that the child enters the world. The parents say I help them a lot, but in actuality, I feel blessed by the family to be chosen to be a part of this very special, intimate moment for them.
Wonderful. And how has the golden period education really helped you along the way and helped you through this journey?
It's given a lot of deeper perspective and understanding because from my learning of either I'm a hypnobirthing educator, so teaching childbirth education in this format, as well as being a doula, there were many things which were hard for me to wrap my head around. Why is this happening? Why this person? Initially when I started this work, there were times when I would come back feeling drained. Okay, maybe it helped the family, but witnessing things happening around is not serving me, serving my own self. Because there is a lot of trauma in birth, unfortunately, in our country today. The way children are born, the way that women are being treated, a lot of that. So more than, of course, being a golden period educator, it changed my perspective and the way I taught the class, as well as even just teaching this golden period education to families during the pregnancy and this special time. But what it brought to me is infinitely much more than what it gave to the families. It made me very conscious about the impact that I'm having. Now, before I sit for a class or with a couple, I choose sit in silence and connect with that unborn soul, that what that child needs me to communicate to their parents. I'm just an instrument, and what needs to flow is through the grace of Ma and Babaji and all the other teachers who are responsible for who I am and what I'm doing today.
Wonderful. Lovely to hear that. Since you brought up trauma, I want to touch another aspect of childbirth. If you look at childbirth in our country, over the years, of course, our ancient knowledge is not what it is today. We don't follow it in its pristine form, and it's something that we've forgotten along the way. So I want to touch upon this issue of trauma and how birthing or pregnancy or the entire process has now become a health event and nothing more than that. Do you think there's time to change that? It's time to change that.
Absolutely, big time. A car will not run on just one wheel. The whole focus has shifted only to the physical aspect, if at all, right? Otherwise, it is just limited to the checkups, which are hardly, there's more time spent in the waiting room than with the doctor, actually. So that's not enough. You're bringing a whole new human being into your life. And there is a deeper impact and significance to this. So it's high time that families focused on a holistic preparation for the soul who has chosen them to be their parents amongst the infinite possibilities available. So physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual is a very, very deep impact for this child who's coming into their lives.
Absolutely. It has to be holistic. At the end of the day, we are bringing a child into this world. So we try and cover everything that we need to and move forward. So, talking about that, of course, you'll get all this and much more on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of November. Baby on Board is a conference, one of its kind conference that Baby Leela is organizing in Hampi, in the magical land of Hampi. It's a very spiritual place. It's a highly it's a place that is steeped in history as well, so don't miss out. Be there on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of November. Baby on Board Hampi is where this is taking place, and for more details you can log on to babyonboard.babyleela.com and you'll get all the information there. All right, moving forward now, Divya ji, as far as golden period educators are concerned, what do you think of a career in GP or career for those who want to take this up as a career alternative, as a career option at some point in their life? What would you say about that?
I would say, please go ahead. This would be the best decision that you would take in your life, not only for all the families that you would impact, but also for yourself. There is a great sport that life is. We take ourselves too seriously. So I'm actually looking forward to the program in Hampi, the very apt location where the play of the Kishkinda Khanda and all the, fun part. And, it's such an interesting space that I'm really looking forward to it. And this edition of the Golden Period Educator, in person, 3 days, immersive, there could not be nothing better than that. So I would encourage whoever has the remotest inclination, maybe this is for me, if you have any doubt, please come and let the magic unfold.
Let the magic unfold. Very, very rightly said. But, Divya ji, let's talk about something that you have done, something that has been interesting really along your path, along your journey, be it with a childbirth, be it with an experience with a pregnant woman, or be it with an experience with a spirit child, whatever it is that you'd like to share with us, that we'd like to hear from you.
Okay. I'll share a very recent experience. One of the families I was working with, they received a scan which had a very difficult health condition, which means the child would have been lifelong in not the normal sense, if the scan was true. So this left the family quite disturbed. Now, this is a very close associate of mine. So I had also given them the Niyantrika pregnancy kit. So, I would keep on following up with them. Are you doing it? Are you spending time? Something as simple as, gazing at the Sri Yantra and following it up during your pregnancy every day, just a few minutes. Till then, I don't know if they diligently did it. But once a scan came, and they were so scared that what's going to happen to our baby. After many years of marriage, this child was conceived. So we spoke about it. We spent a lot of time with the golden period educator part of it, where the child has chosen you, and so many other things we spoke about. And they diligently did this Niyantrika gazing during that time. You won't believe it. The mother and the father came to a space where they were like, we trust the universe, we trust the plan of the Lord, and we'll go about to the best of our capacity, what is in our control. All of that came to be. The next scan, there was no problem at all. The baby was absolutely fine.
Simply wow. And that's the power of spirituality. I just hope and pray that more people understand what spirituality or what being spiritual can actually do, because these things are inexplicable. And only when you feel it can you realize it. And that's what we really need to look forward to and move towards. One wonderful story, Divyaji, wonderful story. Thank you for sharing that story with us. And for those who are unaware, the Niyantrika kit is basically a gazing kit and everything else that is associated with it. A product of Baby Leela, once again, which has truly helped. And we heard from Divyaji herself about how it has helped this couple along the way. Divyaji, as since we are sharing and since we are looking at all these wonderful aspects, I'd like to hear another story from you. Something that is close to your heart, something that that probably you've not spoken about before, and because at the end of the day, sharing is the best way of knowing. And I'd like to pass on the baton to you to share another story for us before we wind up.
Okay, that's very nicely putting me on the spot to share something I haven't shared before. But thank you for it. I will share something that I haven't shared about before, but is very close to my heart. My first child chose to be born with a C-section, and my second child was an unmedicated VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after a C-section. Till I came to the golden period educator, I had a lot of angst against the system, and why is the C-section rate almost 80 to 90% in the country? It's not fair. And I was teaching from the space of a birth activist, though I would say that, what we do is in our control, but the outcome is not. So it is our effort which we put in, which we can control, but we can't control the outcome. So let's do our best and then surrender and leave the rest. I used to say it, but my belief became much stronger when Ma spoke about the child's destiny and their choice, and how everything has a deeper reason to it. So with that understanding, when I served families, first, I accepted my own self, that there is a purpose for the soul for choosing whatever they do. And still, we can take an umbrella or we can take a raincoat when we go out living in Bangalore. We cannot predict when the rain comes or not. This is a force of nature. It's probably the closest that we would be to, the natural phenomenon happening around us by conceiving and bringing this child to life over here. The whole aspect of spirituality connected to this is so deep that every step of the way, it's destined to change. The moment you're comfortable with the newborn, the child becomes an infant and then a toddler. And before you know it, the child is a teenager. So that surrender has to be complete, which happened for me coming here. It used to be something I spoke about, but intellectually only. At every cell in my being, I accepted it. And that's from that space, I became a teacher and a doula. And I trust that I'm able to share this wisdom going forward to everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing a small little part of your heart and part of your life with us. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but now we are so much more wiser because you shared over the last 2 minutes and something that you haven't shared before as well. So wonderful. Thank you so very much. So for more such stories, everything that you need to know about golden period, about how to be a better parent, about how to talk to your unborn child, about how to invite a spirit baby, and much more can all be found out at the conference on the 10th, 11th and 12th of November. Baby on Board is what it is, a conference, a one of its kind conference taking place in the magical land of Hampi on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of November. Be there and enjoy all of this and ensure that your life gets better. For more information, log on to babyonboard.babyleela.com. And I'd like to thank Divya ji as well for being here with us, sharing so many lovely stories with us, and sharing a part of her heart and her life with us as well. Wonderful having you here, Divya ji. Thank you so very much. Much appreciate your time.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Wonderful. And with that, we'll call it a wrap. See you again next time.